la 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 la. This is Femi Anikula Kukuti. You're watching Susan Rice on African West. Keep watching.
I urge all of you who know what it means to be African, all of you who may not know what it means to be African, all of you who are on the journey of awakening, all of you who need enlightenment and continued support, to tune in to Africa Rise with Susan West. And to you, Susan, as a mother, I want to thank you for all the great work that you are doing to uplift us, to continue to engage us, to inform us, and also challenging us to engage in those conversations, difficult as they may be. You are taking us there. So Susan West, Africa Rise, keep up the great work.
Africa Rise with Susan West.
Pleasure being on Africa Rise and the fact that you focus on African problems, African issues, and I would urge you to continue, and I hope that more and more people will pay attention to the leaders that you bring to speak on Africa Rise, and that this will translate into some change for the better for our continent. Congratulations.
Okay! This is your numero uno, and my name is Charlie Boy, the area father. You're the very one of Africa, and the president of all frustrated Nigerians. Keep it real with Susan West. Yes, these are the channel where they like to watch when I won't get sand. You know?
Africa Rise with Susan West.
Hello. A very warm welcome to all stakeholders and fans of Africa Rise with Susan West. It is another beautiful Sunday, and I am super to see you again. Of course, yes, to see you again. And today on the program, of course, before I go ahead, remember, create watch parties. Please do not hesitate to do so, because we need many more people to join and not miss out on the information that we share here. So welcome, and as you join, of course, didn't need Rahina Bello, early bird. Yes, that's my good friend Rahina Bello. Thank you for joining us, as always. Talking to Allysse Daniels. She is an American who have just released a book with Mariah, I suppose, yes. So one of the reasons why today's topic is super important around you, I would advise that you make sure that they're watching, is because we want to begin to use the opportunities that we have, the platforms that we have as Africans to raise a generation of Africans who they are and what they look like in totality. So be it the color of your skin or the texture of your hair, we want you to have that confidence growing up. We didn't have a lot of role models or mentors when we were growing up, and so we had to struggle we had sort of what you might call identity crisis as African children, as African black skinned, regardless of whether you're fair skinned like me, but you're still African. This is my hair, it is African. It took me so many years to finally come to that place to understanding how beautiful my African Afro hair is. So we don't want the children growing up to have to struggle the way we struggle to begin to identify that we are a beautiful people. And so today's guest, Allysse taking us through her book, and of course we will be talking about the importance of creating fairy tales that identify. Why? Because some of us growing up only read things about Alice in Wonderland and all the beautiful stories, nothing wrong with them. But when we did watch them on television, read about them, we did characters. Why? Because they always had silky, very silky and long hair, and they were really real people. But we couldn't really. We thought we had to be like them to be beautiful. We thought we had to emulate the way they spoke and everything. But now we want to begin the process. Welcome, Glory Christian and Botsi Ekapong. Welcome, Sonny Iyamba. Welcome. Please share this broadcast. Invite your friends. And as we go on, remember to send in your comments and your questions. And soon we will be introducing call ins. Find it a little lazy typing. So I want to give opportunity to us to call in to the program contributions that through that through calls basically. I think it's going to be fun. My guest was here just a moment ago. I'm waiting to see her again on come on again, and then I'll yes. Hey Diane, my big sis. Oh yes, you love my hair. She says she loves my hair. Yes. Yes. I will be telling you guys what I do to take care of my beautiful African hair. And you can have hair like this. This oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. But out of the studio for some reason. And by the way, I have a new service provider now. I went back to my old provider, and I'm hoping that it's going to be better. Like I was saying before, I got kicked out. One of them creates awareness and make the young children love themselves is because my first her moment when she started talking. I had a beautiful permed African permed hair. I mean, people who have known me for a long period, but I've got permed, beautiful, long. My hair was so long and beautiful. But when I decided to cut it because I wanted to a lot of course, my husband was like, no, you're not cutting your hair. He didn't understand where I was coming from. I began began to experience, I have come to that realization that she's not appreciating her afro hair, and I refused to perm her hair. She was hair, and she would go, when I said to her that her hair was beautiful, she would go like, mom, I want my hair to be princess. She would call all these fairy tale princesses like Elsa and all the and the rest. We were cut out. For some reason, the network cut us out of the studio. So please, guys, reconnect. And so thought, oh my goodness, how can I make my daughter keep afro hair, virgin hair, and be proud of it? If I know that made me, it was a big deal, you know. But I did cut my hair, and I started, did I say 5 years ago? 2 years ago. It was January 2019. I decided I was never going to have courage, of course. And I began to learn on how to take care of the afro hair and be proud of my hair. And because of the confidence that I carry with my afro hair now, people, people just love it. Yes, Diane. Oh yes, that's good today. Love it. Yes. I will talk to you guys about it. We have a special products that we in the shortest period of time. I make it available for the rest of the world to have access to. Put it out on our website, the hair food Diane is talking about. And I can see our guest is on now in the background. While I will bring her up on screen. So remember to create watch parties, share this broadcast so that your friends and families can watch. Like and follow us on Facebook, _Susan West. Some people say that they find it difficult finding _ Susan West, and I have a little bit of an error in the way that we put it out. So if you're finding it difficult to get find _ Susan West, just type in SWOB21 and you will find our page right there. It is _ Susan West on YouTube as well, and now we haven't been broadcasting live on Instagram, but we are going to begin to upload our past episodes on Instagram. And of course, we're showing on. We're also working on, in a few weeks from now, we will be on Benti as we go on. So yes, I will bring Allysse on. Thank you, Coach. Yes. Welcome,
Hello,
Allysse.
Good morning. Good afternoon to you. How are you doing
Welcome
today?
To Africa Rise.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Right. So quickly, today is the importance of creating fairy tales that identify with African children. Just before I brought you on, I was talking about it, is because in our generation, you're American, but I'm continental African. And when we were growing, we didn't have anybody to make us feel like that we were beautiful the way we were, with our hair, with the color of our skin. And we didn't have to white people, so to speak. So it is so important. One of the reasons why we felt that way, because growing up, everything that was beautiful was white, was Caucasian, was from the West. And
Yes.
so we began to try to look what the Caucasians would look like, and whatever they saw as beautiful was beautiful to us. But the narrative is changing now. A lot of people have gotten, they are awoken to the consciousness of being African, and so quickly react to why it is important to create in the minds of young African children what they should see, that they should see people who look like them projected their space or everywhere around them, so that they begin to have that confidence in themselves.
Yes, thank you so much. And that's a great conversation piece, because I think it's so important for children to see representation, for them to see images that look like them, to reinforce their natural beauty, who they are as people, and how God created them. When I was in the waiting room, I heard you talking about your hair and learning to embrace your hair. And, you know, here in America, I've done the same thing. And so have a lot of people, because it truly is an awakening to be able to revert back to who we were originally before we were told that, you know, Black was not beautiful. And to understand and internalize that is very important for young children to see it, feel it, and have positive expressions of Black role models and Black characters that they can look up to and associate with.
Right, absolutely. And so that brings me to wanting to talk to you about your book, Adventures with Mariah. Do you want to talk to us about what Adventures with Mariah is about?
I sure do. And did you want me to share my screen now, or did you want me?
Go ahead and just talk to us first about
Okay.
why
Yeah,
you
that's fine. So,
what the book is about.
okay. So Adventures with Mariah stars a little female Black African-American character. Her name is Mariah. And the significance of Mariah is that she's actually named after my grandmother, Mariah Cuthbert, who was born and raised in South Georgia. And during the Great Migration in the United States that so many African-Americans were a part of, she migrated up to New York. Because at the time, if you lived in the South, there was really no other means of business or to provide for your family except for by the land. But up north, you could actually get an education and go to school and get a trade. So for me, the fact that Mariah was only 15 years old and made a trek across the country in search of a better life is why I named my main character after her, because I want young girls to see Mariah and to see courage, to see strength, to see power, and to see capability. Quite honestly, the capability that you can do and be anything you want to be. And the other important part about Adventures with Mariah is that she has multicultural friends that you'll see when I show you images of the story. And that's important because friends have to work together, they have to collaborate, they have to be support mechanisms. And specifically in this society that we live in today, this kind of goes back to that representation that you have to have people that you identify with to support the work that you're doing. Within Adventures with Mariah, the kids actually do have superpowers, and they have to go on a journey or a quest in this tale. And that quest allows them to work together and collaborate, again, fostering true collaboration and friendship throughout the story. And then they're able to use their magic powers. And that's where the kind of the fairy tale piece comes in, where we take children from America, African American and diverse children from America, who have to actually travel to Accra, Ghana, to help solve a mystery and rescue the tribal chief's daughter.
Right. It's such an interesting story. Well, I haven't really read it, but I kind of have the synopsis of what the book is about. And now, I would like, of course, for you to share your screen now and take us through what the book and the beginning to the middle, just really quickly. But okay, I'm just gonna stop there. When you're done, I'll ask you my next question.
Okay, great. Let me pull up my screen. Can you see my screen?
All right. I can see your screen now, so go ahead.
Okay, so introducing Mariah. This is our star character that I mentioned to you. This is Mariah, and she likes to take children along with her on a magical adventure to make reading fun. Can you see Mariah on the screen?
No, it's blank.
One moment. Let me try something else. Let me stop sharing and let me try sharing again.
Right.
I've got it now. My apologies. Okay, do you see Adventures?
No
Do you see it
problem.
now?
Yeah.
So you can see it now?
Yes, it's on the screen now.
Perfect. So I'll reintroduce Mariah, our
Yes.
star
Go ahead.
character of Adventures with Mariah. And basically, as I mentioned to you, the first volume is about Mariah and her friends who have to travel to Accra, Ghana. And I'm going to take you through a very brief, high-level overview of the story. So basically, the story starts in Atlanta on Sweet Auburn Avenue with Mariah and her friends. And then her friends are playing in the yard and they realize that they want to hear a story from Grandpa. They want to go on an adventure. So they join hands, circle together, say the magic phrase. And just like that, they're magically in Grandpa's beautiful library where you can see he has a wealth of books to be able to take the children on different adventures around the world. It's important that they go on these adventures around the world because they explore other cultures and customs as they do this. They arrive in Accra, Ghana, where they have to solve the mystery of what happened to Chief Ose Tutu's daughter, Yaa Asantewaa, and they have a friend there, Onika, who's going to greet them and help them solve that mystery. When they meet Chief, this is probably one of my favorite images of the book where you could see that we're bridging cultures and bridging generations, where we have Mariah in the middle and she's speaking to Chief, and then also her grandfather, who is the key elder in the story, who's traveled with her. They solve the mystery, and then she's awarded her very own specially designed custom kente cloth by a chief. And then she's able to celebrate and know that they work together to solve the story. So that was a very quick overview, but basically there's some messages in the story that I'd like to just point out is that, again, the kids have to work together with their magic powers. They also use clues that are unique to the region that or the country that they're in. So for example, in Ghana, as you can see the stool behind the chief, that's one of the clues that they have to find while they're on the journey to actually save the daughter. And with that, I'll stop sharing my screen.
Right.
So I know I went through
I've
it
seen the
pretty
cover
quickly.
and the pictures you've used. It's beautiful and no problem. It's so beautiful. Another thing that struck me is the fact that when I looked at Mariah, I could see my daughter. I could see my daughter Savannah because her hair, that's what Savannah's hair looks like when it's packed into a bun. So I'm thinking that when Savannah and her pairs will and see people who look like them, who have same skin tone as them, then they begin to feel like they can be those other people want to be like, regardless of skin color or the kind of hair they have.
Yes, and Susan, I just want
So,
to add that.
in your go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add that I have 3 daughters, and actually that was one of the reasons why I designed Mariah the way that I did. I actually took pictures of my daughters and kind of combined them and then took that to the illustrator to say that I want the little girl to look like they look. I want her to have textured hair. I want her to have beautiful features, and I want her to be filled with wonder and amazement and have the brown skin tone, just like my children. Because I want little girls to not only look at this when they're reading the story, but to think about that they can be a superhero themselves as well in their everyday life by just learning, and knowledge is a superpower.
Right. Now, when we tell African stories, oftentimes the one thing that comes, especially when you talk, will be the juju, the voodoo or the juju aspect of it. How are you able to bring your story alive without going the same way of using? Is there? I haven't read the book, but I'm thinking, is there a place where it's all witch doctor involved, or the juju comes in play anywhere in the story, or you've just managed to Magic of Africa without having to put that in?
So the way that we do the magic is Mariah's cape is magical. And if she's holds hands and twirls, she's able to transport anywhere in the world. The other piece of magic is Grandpa's staff, which is designed intentionally similar to a staff that a king or a chief would carry, or an elder in a village would carry. If he bangs that staff, he's able to transport the children to any place or space. So that's how we use the magic. The other neat way that we use magic in a fun way, we're not using the traditional witch doctor, as you mentioned, is that Mariah's friends have magic. So one little boy, his glasses are magical if he spins them a certain way. So again, trying to use what do kids normally have today that would make them feel magical. Another child who's in the wheelchair, her wheels actually come off to make a magical spinning globe, and that helps them with anything that they need as far as location or geography. So we're using kind of what I would call modern magic or typical fairy tale magic, like her cape being magical, but we're not calling up the traditional hoodoo or voodoo magic.
Right. Absolutely fantastic. So this in this particular series, you took on Ghana, the cultures of Ghana. So are you looking at going to different parts of Africa, different countries?
Yes, so we want Mariah to travel around to different cities and countries within the continent of Africa, because what I feel being an African American here, as well as we know there's Africans spread across the diaspora, is that our continent has so much richness and so much stories and culture that each time she goes to a different city or culture, she's able to impart something new from that. So just like in this story where she got the magic, the kente, because we know that's significant to Ghanaian history, when she goes to a different part, city or country, she'll actually get the artifact that is significant for that. So yes, our goal is to travel to different cities to cover North Africa, South Africa, East, West, and Central Africa, and to really celebrate and tell the stories of Africa through the lens of a child's fantastical adventure.
Absolutely. And are you thinking about electronic form so that the kids all around the world can have an opportunity to see it on television or something? Especially children to be exposed to things like this. But we also want children from other races, if they so if you will that way, we want the Chinese children, the Caucasian children, to be exposed to these sort of materials so that they begin to also change as to the way they see Africans.
Yes. So So to answer your question, we will have this in an ebook form. We are also in development for the cartoon, the first episode of the cartoon. So I'm super excited about that. And this book was written not just for children of African descent. It's written for all children and all adults who read to children, because it's very important for all children to see each other as human beings first, and to understand that as they learn and go on these adventures, the same as I think of, historically, a lot of times when African adventures happen, it's around more of a negative connotation of trying to take from Africa, whereas we're trying to give and support what we're doing within Africa. So to have this available for all children to see and learn about history and culture, to learn about ancient Kumasi is important for any child, because that's a major civilization that every child around the world should learn about, and the adults that read and support them. So yes, it's for all children. The characters also were designed to be so multicultural and friendly that every child around the world would be able to connect and have their favorite character, as you would say, amongst Mariah and her friends.
And because you're African American and you've lived in America, I believe, most of your life, how are you able to get different African cultures, and their way of life, and how are you able to get of the different cultures that you bring into your book?
So that's a great question because I have lived in America. I've done it a couple of ways. One, through extensive research. I am an educator by training. And so I started step one with doing the research on my own. Step two was talking to people who are actually Ghanaian, either living in America or still living in Ghana or living overseas, to go over the parts of the story and make sure that it was relevant and made sense to them. The other piece was that my final edits of the book, I actually used an African writer to actually read through and make sure that it made sense with the connotation, because it's one thing to read history. It's another thing to have the cultural connotation and understanding. And so having that kind of proofread by someone who's actually African and is a writer helped smooth out what I would say some of the areas and made sure that the story was brought to life with a meaning to respect the history, and then also to celebrate the history, and then to inspire using that history. So that's how I did it.
Right. And so fantastic. So what will be your next port of call as far as the story goes?
Oh, so Susan, I've had so many requests. I've had requests for Nigeria. I've had requests for Mozambique. I've had requests for cities in South Africa. And I'm kind of not sure. I'm going to map out the next 5 cities so that the next time we meet, I'll be able to give you a definitive answer. And I think I might know what city you might be rooting for.
Right. Nigeria is booming with plenty different cultures, languages. I don't want to offend our viewers from South Africa, from the rest of Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, but I'm rooting that the next one should come to Nigeria. We've got the Great Benin Empire. It would be a
Yes.
fantastic. I'm really curious to see what you can come up with as far as the stories of the Benin Empire. Of course, you have the Yoruba, and then you have. So yes, if somebody was interested in purchasing this book, how are they going to get it?
So basically you can go to my website. Should I put it in the chat? It's adventureswithmariah.com, and you can go to my website and order the book. It also will be available on Amazon starting next week.
Right.
And I'll send that out
to you. I'm going to do that for you here. Okay, no worries. I'm gonna put it. We'll be able to see. What's your website called again?
Adventures with Mariah, MARIAH.com.
Right. So for everyone interested in purchasing Adventures with Mariah, www.adventureswithmariah.com. Very easy to remember if you remember the title of the book. And we will have to bring you back here as we go on, but in the meantime, I will just ask you to round up by just talking to continental Africans, especially, in young children, and of course parents, in how to inculcate, in their children and in the values and the need to boost their self-esteem and in appreciating who they are as Africans. Just talk to continental Africans, especially. The reason I say that is because I think when it comes to self-awareness and confidence, as Africans, it's not something that African Americans really struggle with. And even in Britain, where I am, African young children don't seem to struggle as much as it is on the continent.
Okay, yeah. So I'd love to speak directly to young children on the continent. First of all, we have to remember that who we are and how we were created, and that our image and our likeness is what is part of our power. And that's why over time, it's been chipped away, from other cultures who want to take away our awareness of our power. Just like you were saying earlier, our hair is our strength. We have the only hair in the world that can defy gravity of any race on this planet. Our skin, our melanin is a healing force, right? So to really focus and know that with our self-esteem and knowing that who you are and just focusing on the history, the rich history of Africa, and learning it through what I call a new light. I like to call this historical fiction, fantasy that's through a new light, to shine a light bright on ancient civilizations and cultures in the most positive and honoring way. And for people to understand that it is positive and it is time. It is time. You mentioned something at the beginning that is an awakening. It is. It is time for us to wake up, open our eyes, and understand that we are beautiful children of the Almighty, and that we have the right to everything in this world that we can. And we need to celebrate our history and not try to bury it and push it away. Our history is powerful, and we need to celebrate that and use books and imagery that is positive and proactive for who we are and what we look like as a people.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's beautiful. And I'm going to tell everyone who's watching, I know they keep popping in and out, but in a few copies of Adventures with Mariah, I'm going to let you know how you're going to do that. But first, you will answer a few questions of Adventures with Mariah, and you will then drop your answer in the comment section of our YouTube channel. YouTube. And when the question is put out there on our YouTube channel, you will answer, and then we will have a few copies to give away. Allysse, go ahead if you have anything else to say.
Oh, that would be phenomenal. And I'm so excited. I want to first of all thank you, Susan, for having me on your show. We are beyond excited for our American book launch will be December 5th, and then we're planning our global book launch for several months later, where I plan to, as long as we're able to travel, do that launch live from Ghana. So please stay tuned and please stay in touch with us. We will always keep everything current on our website, and I'm very excited and happy to have been on your show. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for coming. And I'll speak to you later.
Okay, take care.
All right, guys. As usual, I will take some of our comments. I think everyone was just enjoying listening to Allysse speak, because usual that you guys were typing in and sending in comments and questions. Of course, I read Glory Grace Shannon says, hello, it's growing. Well done, Susan. Welcome to all our prestigious personalities. She is our #1 fan, Glory Grace Shannon. I love her. Diane Medway, yes, Diane is promoting our hair product, African hair product. David Philip Barango Taria, yes. And Stephen and I will have a fight about polygamy and monogamy. We will talk about it after the program. In global, watching from South Africa, my beautiful sister. I know you must have worked with your beautiful daughter as well. And so the comments and questions coming in from the watch parties. Unfortunately, I can't see your comments if you're watching from other people's comments of the people watching from my page. Okay, so if I didn't take your comments or questions, please don't be offended my page or our YouTube channel. That way I'm able to read your comments out right. And so I will definitely follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Please do so. If you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. In fact, I would tell probably will be on YouTube more because Facebook seems to be censoring us nowadays. They have been telling we're not promoting anything that should bother them, but because we promote everything that is African, we are constantly trying to open them. I don't think that is something that we should be censored for. But obviously, I have received several messages saying that on my page and whatever it is, my wall, and so regardless, we have not censored according to the standards of Facebook. Okay, so please do. In no time, we will be able to do more. And for those of us in the UK, you will be able to past and present on Ben TV. Okay, and so I will see you again, and in our usual manner, I will in Africa Rise as we go into the week. And I love you. God bless you. See you next Sunday. Bye bye.